Hey guys, welcome back to the Diet Doc Life Mastery Podcast. I'm Joe Klemczewski, founder of the Diet Doc with Dr. Kori Propst, our health psychologist. And we're going to talk about something that we probably should do almost every other episode, Kori, which is binge eating.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was just at the WNBF World Championships, and of course, everybody's been dieting and getting ready for the show for months, if not all year. And it's a lot of talk about food. A lot of people either who are going to totally lose control, which could spiral way far away from where they want to be, or a lot of people have even made plans like, how do I make sure I don't do that? So you've got an interesting twist on binge eating, though, this time. What are we going to learn?
Yeah, so I'm engaged in WNBF World's competitors who have been dieting really restrictively. Some people plan to go out of control.
Absolutely.
And that's not an awesome strategy because we know what's on the back end of that, not just in terms of physiology and fat gain and whatever, but we just feel completely ashamed and annihilated spiritually as well. But yeah, so with binge eating, I think that a lot of people, like we've talked about, struggle with binge eating because of severe food restriction. The other side of that is severe, like, emotional restriction. There's two big reasons why we commonly see it. People who are not actively allowing emotions to surface and to let them be and to learn how to be with them, and then people who are just not nourishing themselves physiologically well enough with food. There is an aspect of perfectionism that comes into play as well, but we tend to look at perfectionism as this very bad thing that we need to change and alter and let go of and kind of learn how to minimize a bit, and maybe we look at it as an extreme, and we need to move more into the middle ground and have more of a balance. Well, I think that especially with binge eating, Joe, it's entirely possible to strive for perfection, and I think we need to. Binge eating there's nothing compelling about binge eating. There is nothing healthy at all about binge eating, especially if we're eating adequately. Oh, that's the caveat. If we're not eating adequately and not getting enough food, we're not going to necessarily be able to even prevent them. If we're eating adequately, then we absolutely need to strive for never, I will never binge eat again. That sort of perfection. And why? Because we need to purge all doubt and all uncertainty from our minds about whether this is going to happen or not. I think about high-level athletes, and let's use an Olympic athlete for an example. They don't go into the games thinking, I might win. Maybe. There's a good chance I'll fail, but we'll see what happens. They don't do that. They don't. It's just nuts. So I don't get on my bike, as a personal example, and when I'm going to go ride with the club on Saturdays, we're going to do 70 miles. I don't think there's about a 50% chance that I'll crash today. No, I don't do that. Not even since I crashed. It's like, this is how I'm going to ride. This is what I'm going to be focusing on. I am going to ride with perfection. This is what it's going to look like. So the athlete goes in that she believes she will win. She literally becomes the win. And this is what we as people who are recovering from binge eating need to look at it the same way. We know that there will possibly be mistakes. You and I did a podcast on this previously where mistakes happen. But that doesn't mean we can't go in without 100% certainty that we will never binge again, or I will win. I am the winner of this, because it doesn't serve us at all to be thinking with doubt or uncertainty. What happens with the mind is, with any doubt or with any uncertainty, if I go into my bike ride with the thoughts of, here's what I need to not do in order to not crash, where is my mind oriented? On freaking crashing. So I'm going to look my brain is going to be scanning for all the ways in which I could possibly crash. So if we go in with 100% certainty and zero doubt that we will win and we will never binge again, we're looking for all the reasons why that won't happen. Here are all the reasons that I'm strong and capable and have agency to do this forever. So we have to strive for perfection. Let me speak perfectly clearly, guys.
I think it helps if you look at binging on the continuum, because there's been a couple things in the industry that have been very helpful in the last few years, and that is when Eric Helms started talking about maybe for calorie modulation, and maybe instead of having one higher carb day or calorie day, maybe we could moderate that a little bit and do 2 back to back, which I had never done. I had often done a midweek and a weekend, and I thought, okay, physiologically that does make sense. Let's spend an entire weekend of just a little bit, almost to maintenance levels. Mm-hmm. But then he brought up the concept of a diet break, and now it's very, very common for people to say, yeah, I diet for a month or 2, and then I take a week of pure maintenance, or maybe 2 weeks. And it's not to gain, but you're starting to see a lot more people talk about calorie modulation, not in terms of I'm being perfect or I'm having a cheat meal or a binge. Mm-hmm. It's just using food as that tool for which we want in our performance. And I think that's helping. But I think also in terms of perfection, yes, strive to not do something that is gluttonously horrible for your health and your state of mind. Because I can say I have not binged in 20 years, but I'll choose to eat a big meal once in a while.
Right.
But it's not a binge. There's nothing out of control, and I do have a stopping point. It's like, okay, I'm just done. I'm just like I don't need more. Whereas before, when I have been incredibly calorie restrictive in my dieting, I've binged in that furious, out of control manner.
Right, and that's why baseline, if you're going to live a perfectly binge-free life, it has to be on the foundation of adequate calories.
Perfect. Perfectly said, Kori.
Thank you.
All right, guys, again, this is a topic we're going to talk about occasionally because it's a big deal. A lot of people struggle with this, and there is so much of a pivot or a hinge between the psychology and the physiology that it's just almost inextricable. You can't just say, here's the answer. There are so many facets to it. So hope that helps. Thank you, Kori, as always. And for you guys watching and listening, hang out with us for the next episode because we're going to get into some cool stuff. So we'll see you next time in the Life Mastery Podcast.
Thanks, guys.